Hi there. My name is Tara Sobalski, Director of Partnerships here at BlueJay. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about how BlueJay is redefining AI for tax research. This 10-minute video will walk you through how large firms are benefiting from BlueJay, and I'll spend some time towards the end of the video taking you through a live tour of the solution. CPA.com is dedicated to providing tax practitioners with relevant resources on how the profession is advancing, particularly with AI. We are proud to be CPA.com's preferred partner solution for tax research. Tax experts have traditionally used tools like Bloomberg BNA, CCH, and Checkpoint to perform tax research. The problem is, while these tools have high quality content, they require you to use keyword and Boolean-based searches, making it inefficient to surface relevant content very quickly. So, tax experts tend to turn to tools like Google, sometimes ChatGPT, for the exact opposite reason. Those are highly efficient tools, but of course, you can't be certain of the quality of the content that your answer is providing for you. We built BlueJay to solve this problem, to bring high quality content with trusted resources and a higher efficiency, kind of time saving component to the tax research area. Since launching BlueJay 2 years ago, we've seen incredible growth and traction with large firms. I'm sure some of these logos you'll recognize, if not all of them. Deloitte, RSM, Forbes Mazars, Crow, hundreds of others who are seeing efficiency gains by leveraging AI for their tax research processes. Now, we hear from large firms all the time, large tax teams as well, that tax research is eating up hours each week, leaving less time for meaningful client engagement, advisory work, and strategic account growth. Traditional tools tend to be clunky, pushing teams towards general search engines or generic AI tools, not purpose-built solutions like BlueJay. And with new hires and clients expecting modern tech, the pressure to innovate now is higher in the profession really than it ever has been. Large firms choose BlueJay because it lets their teams complete hours of tax research in minutes, freeing them up to focus on more strategic advisory work. Our intuitive interface ensures new team members and folks who aren't experienced AI users can really hit the ground running with efficient research from day one of using the platform. And with cutting edge generative AI, firms gain a real competitive edge against their peers in the evolving landscape of tax research. On average, users ask over 50 questions per month in BlueJay, making it a trusted daily tool that's embedded into existing workflows. 89% of BlueJay users at regional and national firms would recommend BlueJay to a colleague. And with nearly 3 hours saved each week on research and drafting per user, BlueJay is helping teams work smarter and faster with less resources. And you don't just have to take our word for it. Here's what some of our customers say about their experience with BlueJay. One managing partner told us, we've shifted from traditional research tools to BlueJay because the solution offers a higher value, more user-friendly experience that enables us to serve our clients at an even higher standard. Another said, with BlueJay, I was able to find multiple authoritative sources in less than a minute. It would have taken hours and hours to find this using traditional tools. These voices reflect exactly what we strive for at BlueJay, giving large firms the confidence, clarity, and capacity to thrive in a complex, competitive tax environment. So let's get into a live demo of BlueJay. I'll flip my screen over here and I'll take you through a brief tour of the BlueJay tool live. So as you can see, it's a very intuitive interface. On the left-hand side, you've got all of your prior search history with all of the threads and conversations that you've been having with BlueJay. In the middle of this screen here, you've got a tips and tricks window that gives you a bit of kind of guidance on how to prompt AI. If you're unfamiliar with using other generative AI tax tools out there, BlueJay is conversational. So you don't just need to ask it for section code. You can ask, hey, what are the implications of X? You can describe scenarios. You can ask for lists or, reformatting the answers that are coming through. So you have a lot more flexibility with BlueJay in terms of how specifically you're asking questions, as well as how deep you're going to get into answering those questions as well. So I've got a question teed up here. What are the rules for determining the allocation of consideration received in an applicable asset acquisition? So I'm going to press go on that question. And a few things to note here. So BlueJ is going to take you probably 10, 15 seconds or so to populate your answer. What are the key differentiators between BlueJ and other generative AI tools out there? Is that we are only scraping a curated database of content. We are not going to the general broad, internet to get your source. So we license our content directly from the IRS. We have an exclusive partnership with Tax Notes, where you can, Tax Notes commentary and news is actually embedded into our algorithm as well. We've got case law, we've got SALT content. So you really have trusted, verifiable sources in your answer. And that really is kind of the secret sauce to BlueJ, if you will. So our answer has started to populate here. If I scroll down, you'll notice that generally speaking, it's a very thorough answer. Anytime you see blue, it means that it's actually linking out directly to source material there within the actual answer itself. If I keep scrolling here, some of our answers, and more actually than ever, are now including summary tables. So we include summary tables. We also have smart charts or BlueJ resources available for a lot of topics coming into the tool. And then if you scroll down here further, this is where you can see that full list of cited sources within BlueJ. So this is really, really beneficial when it comes to trusting the BlueJ content and what it's providing. I can click into any specific source. For certain sources as well, it's actually going to highlight the specific area of that reg or stat to show you exactly where BlueJ is pulling the answer from. So you can just have a lot of confidence there in terms of where BlueJ is generating the answer from. So in this case, of course, I have a very robust regulation here. This is probably like 15 pages long. For the sake of time, and just to show you a kind of standard use case in terms of building efficiency with tax research in BlueJ, we're just going to ask for a quick summary of this source instead of, potentially reading through this, which might take you 20 minutes. So I'll just say, provide a quick summary. And now you'll see that when I asked this question, I'm actually within that particular regulation. So I'm living inside of a source within the BlueJ content. And this is all within this one thread that we've started, investigating. So now I've got kind of a quick summary of this regulation. You've got a copy paste button that you can use. So I could move this over into a client file or an email back to the client, for instance. And you can flip through the different source material here at the top. BlueJ is going to pull the most relevant sources out of our entire database. You can view more sources as well, and BlueJ will pull an additional set of resources here. And then a couple other things. Down at the bottom here, you've got, below those additional sources now, you've got 2 suggested follow-up questions. This is a really great use case for training more junior staff in terms of how do you actually really dive into a topic in the area of tax research. Obviously, there's so much nuance involved, and sometimes junior folks, don't necessarily even know where to start with a topic. So this is a really good way to kind of train your staff to get deeper into a topic before just saying, yep, I've got an answer and we're good to go. So you've always got 2 suggested follow-up questions from BlueJ based on this topic. And then a couple other things I wanted to talk about just in terms of use case. I did mention that we have an exclusive relationship with Tax Notes in terms of commentary folded into the equation here. So we'll just ask this question too. We'll say, hey, is there any Tax Notes commentary on this subject? BlueJ is now going to go, we've pointed BlueJ specifically to our tax notes resource, and BlueJ will pull commentary and news directly from our tax notes sourcing. And while that's coming up too, another common question we get asked is, okay, the tax law is changing all the time. How often is BlueJ up to date? I'm sure that I'll be going into Blue Jay and seeing, old information, even if it's just from a month ago, et cetera. Something that's really unique about Blue Jay and we really take pride in as well is the quality and relevancy of our source material. So we have a daily content feed coming in directly from the IRS so that you should never be more than 24 hours away from having super, super relevant, timely content within the Blue Jay tool. The other side too is that, we're obviously an AI tech company that's rooted in the world of tax law and tax research. However, we have humans behind Blue Jay as well. We have an entire team, a legal research team that's dedicated to the quality of answers coming through Blue Jay. It's something that we really, really pride ourselves on. And you also have the opportunity too, if you're ever looking at an answer, if I just scroll up here. You'll actually see this on every thread that goes through. You actually have the option to say, hey, thumbs up, thumbs down. You can interact with the Blue Jay tool and provide any specific feedback in terms of why you might disagree with an answer coming through. Our team internally reviews that information on a daily basis. So we've looked at the tax notes commentary here. If you're a tax note subscriber, you actually have the ability to go in and view those articles. Otherwise, you can see that this answer is made up of those, 7 tax notes articles or pieces of commentary. You've also got the option to list cases for any specific questions that you might have. And the other piece of Blue Jay really is the capacity to create work products from the tool. So, of course, you're doing your tax research and you'll save time there. But the other piece is now having to wordsmith this large document and turn this into something that's digestible for your client who is probably not a tax research expert themselves. So, you have to kind of typically decipher this and kind of wordsmith it a bit in terms of making it a digestible client email. That's something else that Blue Jay can really, really help with as well. So what we'll do here is we'll say, hey, let's provide a brief email for the client who's not a tax expert, and it's got to be less than 250 words. This is where we see time and again the actual true time savings coming in for Blue Jay. We just released a case study a couple weeks ago. We have a client that has about 45 users in Blue Jay, and each user is saving at least 2 hours per week in Blue Jay. And this is one of the big aspects of that is you can save large, chunks of time just on the drafting piece alone. So you've said, yeah, provide a brief email. We can then quite literally copy paste this, continue to edit it if we need to, right back to the client in kind of layman's terms, if you will. And you've also got the option, you can create a client email. You've got a couple quick buttons here, or you can create a memo as well. So that's kind of a standard workflow of the Blue Jay tool itself. We went through asking a standard question. We went into summarizing one of the primary pieces of content. We went into listing cases, looking at tax notes, commentary, and providing an email that could go back to the client on the topic. And like I said, all of your previous thread history will live on indefinitely on the left-hand side. So hopefully that gives you a taste of Blue Jay. You can obviously book a demo with our team. We can dive into, particular use cases that you might have on your team, particular questions that stumped your team potentially, during tax season, et cetera. But hopefully that gives you just kind of a general overview of what the Blue Jay platform is all about. And just to wrap up here, through our partnership with CPA.com, we are thrilled to offer preferred pricing. You can learn more and get started at bluejay.com/partnership/CPA. Thanks again for your time. We hope that this gave you a helpful look at what's possible with Blue Jay.